guys, it's me. Again, I feel like I have time for another video to shoot and also to show you. This is by the same guy, Inline Channel. In this video, he actually this may be a little controversial just by the title itself, but the title is My Big Issue with God. Now you're probably thinking, okay, how is there anything spiritually positive to be gained from this with a controversial title like that? Trust me, I thought this first when I first saw saw the title. But if we just listen to what is said and we take from it what serves us to evolve in our spiritual journey with God, um, I wouldn't go as far as to say that I promise that you'll be thankful that you'll stick around, but I definitely think that you will want to, if you want to evolve, you will want to step into some controversial stuff, because I believe that in doing so, you realize things about God that you either never have or you have, but in a way to where it just reignites that fire. So yeah, let's watch.
I wanted to shoot a quick video this morning because I watched this clip about some physicists on 60 Symbols, and they were talking about how they don't believe in God, many of the professors. And in academia, at the universities, most scientists don't really believe in God. And quite frankly, I definitely can appreciate why that is. I'm pretty scientific myself. So in this video, I wanted to address what is the big issue with this concept of God? Why is this such a problem? As a Roman Catholic, I honestly think that the concept of God is really one of the worst hangovers that we have in our Abrahamic religious traditions. Stay tuned. So it might sound kind of strange to hear a Roman Catholic say that the concept of God is a problem. It seems like that's the center of our whole religion, but let me explain what I mean. When I say the word God, what comes to mind? You probably visualize some kind of an old man with a white beard sitting on a cloud or perhaps a throne in the sky. Probably something more comparable to Santa Claus than anything else. And that's not really that misleading. The notion of this white man with a beard living in the sky is pure mythology. It's actually closer to paganism and the images of Zeus and Elohim and Indra, the sky god, this kind of a concept. It's a mythical form, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the Abrahamic religions. We do find a few isolated instances in the Bible where the Bible seems to refer to God in this way, but it's very rare, and it's usually saturated with metaphor. So one of the interesting things is how we still have this concept and this notion of God in spite of all the religious tradition that is running contrary to it. What do we mean when we describe this thing God? What is God? When I say God, what is it really? It's definitely not a man in the sky with a white beard, okay? That is a mythic form that has some connections back to Zeus and Greek culture, so really, we've got to just take that right off the table. If we're referring to God in the Christian sense, then we're talking about a Trinity. And the only thing that tradition tells us emphatically about the Trinity is that the Trinity is a mystery. It cannot be conceptualized or easily understood. One of the most important things to understand about God is the notion that God is incorporeal. This is explained emphatically in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is basically saying that God is not a physical entity. Now, this really is important to understand, because if God is incorporeal, okay, and is mysterious in his nature, then the very notion of trying to find evidence for the existence of God becomes self-evidently ridiculous. You cannot find physical evidence for an unphysical phenomenon. Perhaps you could find effects of this phenomena in the physical world, which can be inferred from different things. But again, there's an issue surrounding that, because now you've got to interpret what those effects in the physical world mean in terms of their direction. What are they pointing to? Are they pointing to the existence of a God, or are they pointing to really nothing at all? And this is really where science and religion can butt heads. You can have a miracle where someone is healed of an incurable disease, and the religious person says that this is proof for the existence of God. But the scientist, as a skeptic, will say, no, this is just proof that we don't have an adequate explanation for these things. You see, there's a different way that you can interpret that evidence. But the most most important thing, I think, when we try to understand this notion of God, is to look at what the scriptures have to say. Okay, one of the most useful verses that we can find is in the Gospel of John. And in this Gospel, Jesus says God is spirit. And this is one of the few instances in Scripture where we have a really articulate definition of God. You know, you don't really find a nice, neat, and tidy definition for God in Scripture, but here you do. Christ emphatically tells us that God is spirit. But now we're faced with another question. What is spirit? You know? Now, the word spirit in Hebrew or in Greek, it refers to the breath, generally. Spirits and the spiritual dimension are directly linked up with the air, with the wind. In the scriptures, it talks about how God breathes the spirit of life into Adam. And after Christ's resurrection, he breathes a spirit onto his disciples. So there's this direct correlation between spirit and breath. But if God is wind, then why aren't the Jews praying to the wind, right? See, there's something about the air, there's something about the breath that the Jews are referring to that is not necessarily associated with the wind. We know that the Jews were not worshiping a wind god, right? There are wind gods in different faiths, but the Abrahamic version or the Abrahamic understanding of God is clearly not a wind god, right? There's something about the breath that these traditions are pointing to. Now, it's kind of an interesting experiment to ask ourselves, what is it about the breath that is linked to God? What is it about breath that connects with God? Well, one of the things we can do is stop breathing. And if you hold your breath long enough, there is definitely something that will happen. You'll pass out. Now, passing out or fainting, as defined by the dictionary, is the loss of consciousness. And in fact, it's interesting, if you look at the definition of clinical death is the cessation of a heartbeat, the cessation of blood flow, the cessation of breath, the end of consciousness. That's the definition of dying. That's also what happens when we go to sleep at night. When we go to sleep, we lose consciousness. Now, as I've talked about in many of my other videos, dreams and altered states of consciousness link up in a very important way with religion and religious traditions and religious concepts. So here, if we understand the wider context, we can suddenly gain some innate perspective on what these religions are really talking about. You see, when Christ says that God is spirit, he's saying that God is breath. Now understand that in those ancient languages, they didn't have a word for consciousness. Consciousness is in fact an English word that was invented only in the 1700s. It's a relatively new word. So in those ancient traditions, breath, life, consciousness were all wrapped up into a single word called spirit. So when Christ says God is spirit, he could just as easily have said God is consciousness. Now that suddenly puts us into a whole new dimension, because what we're referring to is a life force, a vitality, a power, which we experience on a daily basis when we're awake, when we're aware, when we're alive. Consciousness is divine. And what I really love about following this line of logic is when we then look into the origin, into Hinduism and Buddhism, because by God, you will not find a better correlation than this, because clearly in the Upanishads and in the teachings of the Buddha, it is well understood that the consciousness which is looking through our eyes and hearing through our ears is immortal and everlasting, and it draws from the divine, it draws from Brahma, it draws from the Buddha consciousness that is all pervasive. Suddenly we can see the universal principle that is at work in all of these traditions. We can recognize that God is consciousness. God is awareness. And one of the things that's great about this is if there is anything on the frontiers of science that science cannot seem to understand or dissect or prove, is consciousness. Consciousness seems to be permanently beyond the understanding of science. And science, I have to confess this. I love science. I consider myself a very scientific person. But there are major problems with trying to break down consciousness scientifically. So there is a lot of research going around trying to understand where consciousness comes from, what it is, how it arises. And the truth is, we have no idea. And this, I think, really helps us to recognize and appreciate what is God. God is the mysterious source and container of consciousness. He is what is looking through my eyes and hearing through my ears. And I'll read for you guys a beautiful quote from the Hindu Upanishads. Now, this is a verse out of the Kena Upanishad, and it says, "Not that which the eye can see, but that whereby the eye can see. Know that alone to be Brahman, the eternal, and not what people hear adore. Not that which the ear can hear, but that which whereby the ear can hear. Know that alone to be Brahman, the eternal, and not what people worship here. Not that which speech can illuminate, but that by which speech can be illuminated. Know that alone to be Brahman, the eternal, and not what people worship here. Not that which the mind can think, but that whereby the mind can think. Know that alone to be Brahman, and not what people worship here. You see, the Tina Upanishad is helping us to recognize that the image of Brahman, or the concept of Brahman, the concept of God, is really empty. It's an empty concept. It really does not exist. There is no such thing as this magical being out there in the air. It really doesn't exist. And this, for me, as the teacher and leader of this channel, it's mind-boggling for me to hear people in the Western world talking about the existence of God. I can settle the whole debate. God does not exist, and He never has. God is the source of existence. God is the consciousness which sustains all forms of consciousness. God is the intelligence behind the mystery. He is not something that can be measured, detected, looked for, dissected, or split apart. He's not a thing. He's not a substance. He's not an object. He is the mystery which gives rise to all phenomena. And when you think of it that way, you can suddenly recognize that this notion of God, okay, the word God, G-O-D, is really a terrible word. Because we're talking about something which is inconceivable, incomprehensible, mysterious, transcendent to space and time, incorporeal. Okay, this is big stuff. And if you're going to try and reduce that to the symbol of a man with a beard in the sky, you're going to run into a lot of problems, which is where we are today. So I hope that gives you guys some insight, and I would encourage you to really meditate on this, especially if you belong to an Abrahamic faith. Recognize Yahweh as that which is hearing through my ears, and not that which is heard by my ears. Recognize Yahweh as that which is looking through my eyes, but never that which is perceived by the eyes. Recognize Yahweh as that which is within the heart, not that which the heart can perceive. God is the source of all, the center of all, the beginning, the end of all. He encloses space and time, and He's not a thing which can be known with concepts or words or imagery. You can't paint a photo of Him and hang it on the wall. You can't draw a picture of Him in the sand. You can't even write a song to inspire Him. He is a being, a knowing, an essence which is felt within the heart, which is recognized in dreams, and can only be known by turning to. That's the divine. That's the mystery. And that's the thing that can only be experienced and not really known in the mind.
There you go. Just kind of makes you think of, what's really important. It makes you ask a lot of questions, that even ask questions that just when you think your questions have been answered, more questions are rising up out of you. This is, I think, a very, very, very awesome time for me to question and do research, because I think if I just blindly believe in something or someone, it would be very difficult to undo it, or to evolve in a way that people don't understand because they fear. But yeah, this is definitely a very good time for me. At first I thought this was, a bad thing, and after doing these, after, going through my experiences, and then now starting this YouTube channel, sharing with you guys and everything, and the videos that I'm into and everything, it just makes it more crystal clear to me that this is actually a good season for me to be in. And I love being a Jesus follower who just can't help himself having questions, and whether they're answered or they aren't answered, to where more questions come up, bring it on. Bring on the challenge. I'm all for it. So that's it for now. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to send them, and like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.